week, Washington State University was rocked by a terrible tragedy. Wazoo quarterback Tyler Helinski was found dead in his apartment, and the Whitman County coroner ruled that Tyler had taken his own life. We certainly do not know the circumstances surrounding his death, nor do we know what kind of challenges he was facing. But we wanted to reach out to others who might be struggling or have loved ones who are. So here to help, please welcome from Forefront Suicide Prevention, Shira Rosen. It's good to have you here.
Hi, thanks for having me.
I mean, this is always one of those things that, just stops everybody in their tracks. A college kid with so much to look forward to, one would think, and our hearts go out obviously to his family, also to the team and to the broader Wazoo community. How do we even begin to wrap our minds around something like this?
Yeah, our hearts definitely go out to the family and to the team and to the whole community, and really the greater, Washington community who's connected to that school. And what we see is that suicide does rock a community. It affects lots and lots of people. And the biggest things, the most important things are to really understand how to look for warning signs and how to see what's going on and try to understand situations and really be a support for our community after a tragedy and before one occurs.
Well, let's talk about the fact that many people said this was a young man who didn't seem to display signs of distress.
Yeah, and that happens sometimes. Sometimes there are suicides. I've heard many cases where very popular person doing well in school, top athlete, those kind of things. And sometimes that does happen. Sometimes people really hide their feelings, their emotions, and they're not able to talk about it. And really encouraging people to talk and really encouraging people to open up, I think, is a key to how we can help prevent suicides in those situations when it doesn't seem like there's clear warning signs.
In the broader context, then, it seems like removing stigma from these conversations. Obviously, I do not know what happened in this case. I'm not sure anybody does.
Yeah.
But I do know that there have been professional athletes who've talked about the fact that they seem to have everything and they couldn't bring themselves to say, I'm suffering in this particular way. And part of that is because they thought it would be shameful. And we have to remove that stigma and that shame around this conversation.
I totally agree. I think that's one of the biggest problems is that people don't want to talk about their struggles, that we're all supposed to look tough and fine and we're supposed to put on this image that everything is going well in our life. And that's not true for any of us 100% of the time. So how can we really start doing that as a community and start listening to people and allowing people to share their challenges?
What might be some of the warning signs? And depression has nothing to do with, everything might be going fine and you are depressed as a result of your personal body chemistry, the disease of depression. What might we see in someone?
Absolutely. Depression is how you're feeling on the inside, and that doesn't always show to everyone else that you're around. So depression and mental health challenges are the number-one warning sign and the number-one concern. Substance abuse, especially increase in substance abuse use. And then you have isolating from your life, not doing as many activities. In college, you may be on lots of different organizations or groups and withdrawing for that, maybe not showing up for classes, not turning in assignments. And then even irritability, like being irritable. I know with teenagers, sometimes parents say, oh, they're just going through a phase, but actually that might not be a phase. There might be more going on, and the way it's being displayed is irritability.
And so try to get underneath that and figure out what's happening.
Exactly.
There are, kids go off to college and that's sometimes their first time away from their family and they're going to change and you may not as a parent see it. What can we do to kind of inform young people about how to keep an eye on one another?
Yeah, so there are different prevention trainings at schools. So many colleges and universities do trainings. I think people going through trainings and really understanding more in depth how to look for warning signs, how to really listen to their peers, and also how to ask the question. I think a key component to suicide prevention is directly asking the question, are you thinking about taking your own life? Are you thinking about suicide? And some people would say, well, won't that plant the idea in their head? But actually it won't. Many studies show that it helps people feel more open. If I can be direct with you and I can say the word suicide, you know that I have enough attention. Yeah, that you can be more honest because I've been honest about it and said the word that you may be thinking about, but you're too scared to talk to anybody because you're afraid of the stigma and the taboo surrounding it.
That's a really important point. There are other kids in the community there at Wazoo and really frankly across the country who are, just devastated by this. What is the best way to support our young people in the aftermath of something of this magnitude.
Definitely, like being able to talk and listen, letting them talk, letting them work on all of their feelings, because we know that's another risk factor for suicide, is being close to somebody who took their own life. And so we want to make sure that students are getting the support they need. And actually, one of the things we're supporting right now is there is a bill in Olympia to help increase mental health services and suicide prevention at colleges and universities across the state. And I think that is a really big piece too, is that there's almost no college and university that can support every student well, and it's not their fault in any way. It's about funding and having the support. So really having enough resources for students and really helping students to come together to talk with each other.
Boy, that seems like a really important thing. I hope you'll keep us informed about that. If that bill passes, what would it do?
It would help provide more mental health services and resources at college and university campuses, and also some suicide prevention support as well.
Wow. And that seems like something that we're just going to have to talk about at school in general, but at colleges in terms of orientation and, you know, getting kids prepared for the fact that these things happen and how to reach out.
Yep, and how to support and for them to reach out themselves to get help, and also how to support their friends and their fellow students to reach out and get support.
Silence doesn't help. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Once again, help is available 24 hours a day at the Suicide Prevention Lifeline. The number is there on your screen. We have also linked more information and resources on New Day's website. And please remember, no matter how bad you may feel, you are never alone. This crisis line is there for everyone. We'll be right back.